Joel, your shirt says Berserker. Is that Berserk the anime, or what is that?
No, it's a new Viking clothing
Shut
company.
up, Joel, and welcome to the weekly poll.
Hey, everybody.
That was good. That was good. All right.
Welcome, everyone, to the weekly poll, our show that we put on right here at Eligible Monster, twitch.tv/Eligible Monster, every other week, and we discuss what's going on in comic books, movies, pop culture in general. Today, the wonderful hosts that are joining me are Sal from Comic Pop, Joel from Canada, and Benny from Colorado.
That's right. Comic Pop is a U.S. territory, by the way.
You are. You have your own passports, your own licenses.
We do.
Oddly enough, you still have to wait 8 hours at your own DMV, though, right?
Yeah, it's kind of weak, but tourism's a little down, so come visit.
Come visit Comic Pop the Nation.
Spend some money.
He's got these 8-bit pixel files ready to go.
Oh, I've got, they're discounted for days. Come on down. Yeah, we have a bunch of Funkos as well, because people send them to me, and I'm like, I hate these, but I guess this is cool.
This is why they send them to you. I mean, I've got a bunch of Funko Pops. I enjoy collecting ones for specific series and things like that.
Yep.
But okay, so we don't know what's going on with the internet. It looks like Sal's doing mostly okay. He's a little choppy at times, but he was the same way on Skype. Joel, though, we assume is currently under attack by Canadian forces to kidnap him and bring him somewhere.
It was bound to happen eventually.
Exactly. It's we're playing Joel over there.
Our only true fourth member, Tiff, is not available today.
No, she is. She is doing work for like a real job. Like,
why are you gonna say? I hate that when people are like, "Oh, you don't have a real job." Okay, you come and work 12-hour days and tell me I don't have a real job.
No, that's true. If I were single, this would be my real job. I have health insurance because of the other job that she's doing right now.
If it's a real job, does that mean I can stop paying real taxes?
I have health insurance through this job.
Nice.
Lucky.
I would, but I would not be able to afford this lovely studio right now with both those payments.
And Joel is Canadian. They don't have health insurance. They just have free health care.
Yeah, they just go into the forest and woodland creatures just operate on them.
It's true. It's the Snow White model.
Yeah.
Come to me, my woodland friends. Give me your healing power.
Their saliva has healing properties, so it's just kind of it's like a Disney film, but it's Canadian.
All right, so not tons of big news, but there is a lot of little things that we can talk about today. So
sure,
let's go ahead and get the Oscar news out of the way first. What do you think? You want to do that first?
Oh yeah. Yeah, let's do it because I have very few opinions about the Oscars.
Same here, because I feel the Oscars are garbage and it's just a bunch of old white guys patting each other in the back, getting paid to vote. But whatever.
It becomes more and more like that every year. Although I will say this year, they are the most we're not racist than ever before.
They sure are.
It's almost like they were like, well, Black Panther sold like crazy. Let's just vote for that everywhere. And that Spider-Verse movie did amazing as well. Let's just put that everywhere. It's got it's got that Miles guy, right? He's not white.
Yeah, so we'll be okay. They can't, and we have no host, so no one can complain, even though we fired the black host.
Oh my god! Well, the host
because he was being homophobic.
Right, I already don't care at all about the Oscars simply due to the lack of a host. Like I've only ever watched the Oscars because of the humorous host and the jokes they bring and what they do to the whole thing.
Right.
So when you remove them, I don't care anymore.
My enthusiasm for the Oscars with hostless dropped a good 75%.
And it wasn't high to begin with.
Now that being said, there was a internet theory or an internet movement being tossed around at such a stage where it could have been done, and it was just make the Muppets host the Oscars.
Everyone
it was like, and let me tell you something. I would have taped the Oscars if the Muppets had hosted.
Why didn't they do that?
Right? Because here's the thing. You build the stage on risers, you get the Muppet people underneath, and then you put Statler and Waldorf in the balcony. They make fun of Brad Pitt and everybody in the stands. It's just gold.
Yeah.
And it would cost a fraction of whatever the going rate is for Anne Hathaway or NPH. Just do it. And they were like, rather than do anything fun or popular, let's just go. I'd rather do nothing.
Yep.
And that's exactly what they've done, which is why I don't really care about the Oscars. Never mind the fact that every year it's just a bunch of like patting each other on the back. The Oscars have never struck me as, wow, this is like actually what people watched and what saw and what made a ton of money. It's always just been like, what do we think should be the champions right now? Did you give me no, you didn't send me a care package. You want me to vote Spider-Man, or where's my Spider-Man undies?
Yeah.
And not to mention, too, I mean, the people who do eventually do make good work and do win never win for the movies they're supposed to. Like Scorsese should never have won for The Departed, but he did because we're paying you back, and that's how it works.
And that's what I mean. Okay, so the only important ones that matter to us on our podcast, basically, are Black Panther has gotten, I think, 9 nominations?
Yeah, with all the sound Oscars. 1 Oscar for sound, everybody. You don't need sound editing and sound whatever the hell. How about just sound? It's and like 2 different films usually win, which is like, what? Just make it 1.
Well, the sound was really good in this one, but this one, they know how to edit it better.
Yeah, what the hell does that even mean? I mean, I and by the way, that's a rhetorical question. I don't care what it means. As a viewer, who cares?
It's
that's like saying
what was it? Which include Best Picture. There you go.
Right. And by the way, Black Panther being nominated for Best Picture, I doubt it is Best Picture. Like, I doubt it is the Best Picture, objectively speaking.
But it means a lot.
That being said, I love its nomination, and not for the reason you think. Not because like we're comic book fans and I love comics and I'm glad the comics are finally getting their due. I was excited because Lord of the Rings won its Oscar, even though Fellowship should have won. Because Fellowship was objectively a better film than Return of the King. But I'm excited because if you go back only to the 70s, you will notice that the Oscars used to be an award ceremony for the movies everyone saw.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
10 movies, all of them were the top grossing blockbuster hits. And then at some point or another, the Oscars went from like, let's give awards to the movies that everyone went to the freaking movies to see, to let's make the Oscars into something like an exclusive club of like art house pictures that we all self-financed. Like, I will allocate a certain amount of money from my studio to make these 3 movies that are specifically made just for this award ceremony. Like, even though I know they will not make any money, that's bullshit. Like, I get making cool movies, and that's what Sundance is for. That's what independent film is for.
Yep.
Like, make real film that way, and then studios can gobble them up and destroy them using, like, their money.
Yeah.
And also,
like, that's just the way God intended.
And also, let's be sure to cram all the Oscar bait movies right at the end of the year to make sure no one has a chance to see all of them, because we don't even trust the memories of your average Academy member to recall what they saw.
Yeah.
That's like that in and of itself. I mean, like, the obviousness of it. It's like when they dump their garbage in January. Like, go look at the crop of flicks that were released over the last 2 months, or that have released this month and were coming out next month, and you will see where Hollywood drops its films to die. Like, that's the time.
Like Glass.
That's when all the Resident Evil movies came out.
That's like Glass.
Like Glass. They had no faith in that movie because it's out in because it's out in January.
But
yeah.
The big issue that I have overall with the Oscars, it's the same attitude I have with the Weinstein Awards over in comic books. It is just the pat in the back. It is like the indie thing. If you look at like the Weinstein Awards, Saga's won the same category 7 years in a row.
Yes, Eisner's not Weinstein. Weinstein's bad. Eisner good.
Oh, my bad. The Harvey Awards. Let's just go with that.
Oh, the Harveys. Yes. That was such a great awards that they had a ceremony in Baltimore for like 10 years, and then New York Comic Con bought them. There was no awards ceremony for a year and a half, and then just one day we went to New York Comic Con. I was there all 4 days. I didn't see a single thing about the Harveys. I leave on Sunday, and they're like, "Here's everybody who won." I'm like, "When was this?"
No, I know, but it's dumb. Overall, though, Black Panther getting Best Picture nomination. I felt Black Panther was a good, solid movie. I did enjoy it. I don't know if it was the best picture of the year, but I can't even judge on that because I don't go to the movies that often at this point. Like, I go see our big blockbusters. That's about all I go see at this point. And I wait for them all to come out to Google Play, and I get to sit in my awesome little office area over there with all the lights beaming in, and I'm not stuck to the floor, and I'm not dealing with a bunch of people yelling in the background. And you know what I mean?
Right. I love the movies. I love going to them. I enjoy, like, analyzing and picking them apart. That was like comics and movies are like neck and neck for the like my love of pop culture. And I love going to the movies, but it's like a carefully curated experience. Like, because I can't just go.
Yeah.
I can't just like be like, oh, I'm going to go see Batman. Like, nope, you can't just go see Batman because you're going to be surrounded by like idiot jackasses, children.
No,
Well, you're in Jersey.
Everyone who ruins movies. Every theater has these people, and it's like everyone who ruins movies goes like immediately when that movie comes out, which is why I like
And
to
you
go
also
like, in
every
the
parent
morning.
bringing their baby under 1-year-old child because they got to get out.
Oh, no.
They can't give up their life, but they got to go out to the movie theater at 9 p.m. on a Friday with their screaming kid.
Yeah. Oh, we were driving by the theater the other day, and I saw a couple who were pushing their stroller of like clearly an infant into the theater. I'm like, you suck. You can't go.
Yeah.
You just can't go to the movies. I'm sorry. Get Google Play, get Chromecast, watch a bunch of movies you missed, but you can't go to the theater today because you have an infant.
Yep. Jedi John, thank you so much for those 11 months in a row. I've made my stance on infants going to the movies and restaurants and stuff all the time. I don't have a child myself, so it's a different appearance. But I've dealt with enough Army soldiers who have a child, and 3 months in, they're like, I can't get out of the house. I don't know what to do. I'm just going to bring my kid with me. And I'm like, you have a child. You can't, because then you're going to have a screaming baby wherever you go. You know, which
Exactly.
we had I want to say it
good?
was Infinity War was ruined for us because in the last big pivotal sequence, a screaming baby and the mother had to get up and walk out of the theater, and it's like, wow, yeah, that may have been a more emotional moment if I wasn't like, would you shut the baby up?
Oh yeah, no. I heard a great apropos of that movie and bringing kids. I remember hearing somebody wrote like a great review, or there was really good advice that people gave when they were like, I have a kid, he's 8. He loves the Marvel movies, but like I'm worried that he might freak out at something like really too emotional. What do we do? And they were like, leave when Thor hits Thanos with the axe. And it was like, yeah, that's perfect. Like Thor hits Thanos with Stormbreaker, and then you're like, and then you just go, okay, well he won, and then you just leave.
Yeah.
Joel dropped out. Oh, now he's back.
Wow,
But like,
I mean, Sal's having his usual Skype issue that he gets issues on Skype, but Joel, I don't know what's going on with Joel.
I forgot. Is it because I never use Discord? What the hell's the problem?
Wait, you're not using the actual Discord app, are you?
No.
That's your issue.
oh,
Well, that
you need to
explains
use
that
the
then.
app.
I'll work on that.
Wait, you're not on the app either, Sal?
I'm on the browser.
I'm seeing why the videos are chopping up now.
Oh, that's why? All right. I'll jump
Guarantee
into
you the app will run better.
Nice. All right.
Good to know.
Anyway, back to the Oscars discussion before
The Oscars
before
suck.
we have 30 minutes of the weekly poll ragging on young parents with young kids.
Listen, I have no problem with you. Breed. I'm just don't bring them to the movies.
That's always I have no problems with kids and stuff like that. I hate going to like a fancy restaurant and like it's Friday night at 6 and they're like the parents bring the kid, but I'm like case in point, we go to Red Robin. I'm like, I expect it here. This is Red Robin.
Oh,
you know, like
that's fair.
yeah, like this is
it-
Applebee's. It's okay. You know, Natalie
that'll
gets a
be
little
like if I-
angry. Like we went to Red Robin one time and there was a kid screaming, and she's like, "God, I hate when parents bring other kids." I'm like, Natalie, we're at Red Robin. Like,
Like, you're
Red Robin.
at the Costco. Like, yeah,
This-
you're gonna.
this is gonna happen. You know, like we went to go see an animated movie and there was a kid screaming once, and she's like, I'm like, yeah, but we're in the middle of some Pixar movie. This is where
Right.
this is what the kids go to.
Yeah,
These damn children keep me from enjoying my cartoon movies.
yeah. That's why you go during the week. You go in the morning on Thursday because number one, we're self-employed, lol, and number like that's when you go.
So, all right. So, what do you guys think about Into the Spider-Verse winning the animated picture of the year or getting nominated? I think it's going to win because I can't think of anything else that came out this year.
Oh,
No,
God, no.
Disney will win because Disney always wins, even the years when they're not supposed to win. They will still win because they can spend more money on it than everything.
What did Disney
hope-
come out with? And Joel, your connection's getting like worse and worse.
Here, hang on.
I'm
Can I
sorry.
rejoin? I'm gonna.
Yeah, try
I
to
have
rejoin.
the.
We're gonna take. I'll keep you guys entertained for a minute while they try to rejoin on the apps.
Pull me back in. I don't know how to do that.
You should just be able to rejoin
Rejoin what?
the call.
Oh, wait a minute. No, I'm open right now. I can message you. That's all I can do.
I can invite you to servers I'm on.
Yeah, do that. Hang on. Yeah, do that.
We're trying to. Oh, Sal, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Here, I'll do this.
Cool. Mm.
Did that? No, you guys all have to hang up.
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
Okay.
Ah, it's giant Joel.
I know. I'm still figuring this shit out. Okay, leave call.
Yeah,
All right, I'll
leave
leave
call because apparently, well, hey everyone, how you doing today? Why is it not letting me drop out of the call? There it is. And now we'll call them again.
Hey.
And now you're on the app now, right?
I am on the app.
Are you on the app, Joel?
No, I'm not.
What was the whole point of you leaving?
God damn it!
I'm just downloading the thing that I make it work. Do you just want me to back out on this episode and I'll just come back?
No, you're
next
fine.
time?
You're literally a robot. Like, it's getting worse and worse as we go. I don't know why.
All right, I'll just leave and come back next time because if I got to download the app and do all that other shit, there's no saying I'll be able to do it quickly.
You're sounding okay now. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, stay here. Download the app while we're doing the show.
Well, he's already breaking up,
just saying,
Sal.
well,
That's a terrible idea.
Yeah, well, that fucking up, that's my worry.
I did it while we were doing the show. Nobody noticed. All right.
Yeah, give it a shot, Joel.
Oh.
Anyway.
Okay, fair enough.
All right. So anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. We don't have much to say in the Oscars, as you can tell by it turning into a rant about kids going to movies at inappropriate times.
Right?
So let's go ahead and move
Yeah.
on to the next big topic I wanted to talk about. Bleeding Cool has reported that DC Comics is selling almost half as many comics a month as they used to. And at first I thought it was kind of crazy. Like, why? What? That doesn't make any sense. The numbers still seem good.
Yeah.
But they're saying how Titans, Damage, and Scooby Apocalypse have been announced to be canceled. Now, if you look into it, Titans has been canceled, but there's already talks about the new creative team and stuff like that. So that looks like Dan Abnett's run isn't selling. We have a show called Titans we're trying to push. Let's try again. That's what that looks like to me.
Big time.
Yeah, that one I'm not too concerned about. But Damage and Scooby Apocalypse, that's a little sad. Damage was cool. He's like a Hulk replacement. Scooby Apocalypse
It was
is going on forever.
niche.
He is a niche.
Did you hear?
What?
Now, I heard that all the Hanna-Barbera books are getting canceled.
Oh, okay. That would make sense then.
And I heard it's because somebody at Warner Brothers who like is in charge of licensing is like finally noticed what they were doing with all the Hanna-Barbera characters and we're like, you like Snagglepuss isn't supposed to be like out of the closet gay. He's just supposed to be like your uncle who you kind of think might be gay.
Dude, that's actually interesting, the theory, because, I mean, as Black Label showed, WB had no idea what DC was doing.
No. Although apparently, like DC, Warner Brothers was just like, well, you know what you're doing. You've been doing it for like 35, 40 years. Just keep doing it under Warner Brothers, what I'm saying. But like, apparently the big like censorship push against DC was all because of like the new president, whoever's in charge now over at DC. She's the one who like iron hammered, chopping blocked everything that was like new, edgy, or in any way provocative. But apparently on a separate note, like the Warner Brothers Hanna-Barbera people were like, Scooby-Doo is like this horror show about like monsters and death. Like, what is happening? You killed Freddy. You can't do that. Like, so apparently they're just pulling it. Like they're pulling the licensing from all the from DC entirely.
And that would make sense, because Scooby Apocalypse making it as far as it did was interesting to begin with, but that tells me that there is a dedicated audience, because you can have a book.
It beat the odds.
We've seen this a ton. Yeah, it beat the odds. We've seen this happen dozens of times. A book comes out, it gets an initial rush. Everyone's like, read it. But it only makes it 6 to 12 issues because everyone read it for the first 3 issues and stopped reading it. Scooby Apocalypse making it 36 issues means it found a niche, hardcore audience that continually bought it. So I find it...
I can't believe that.
I can't either, but I find it very hard to believe that audience just suddenly turned tail and left. You know? I've been even enjoying it. You know, like, but I enjoy a lot of books that get canceled.
It's like, if you're reading Scooby Apocalypse 30, 20 issues in, you're reading it for the run of the series.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to quit now. But, it's weird. I expected all of them to be canceled, and from what I understand, like most of them were.
No, they
like
were
Future.
all. Scooby Apocalypse is the only outlier that's remained at this point. Everything else was canceled, or it became like a one-off miniseries kind of a thing. So this was the last one. But you're right. Maybe someone did notice that recent run of things they were doing, and because they kept coming out with other Hanna-Barbera books. You know,
Oh yeah.
I will say I looked at I just took a peek at the numbers over on Comicron.com, and apparently the December issue of Scooby Apocalypse sold 10,000 units.
The funny thing about that is higher than some of those low-end books at Marvel still.
Oh yeah. Oh well, it beat Wicked and Divine. It beat Spider-Geddon.
Yeah, that's what I. Wow, Spider-Geddon was that low?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, because why?
Dude, I thought Spider-Geddon was fun.
Right, but like, fool me once, shame on you. Like, like I'm not buying another Spider whatever the hell book about these freaking vampires.
But see, that one was good because it allowed Miles to take the forefront and to give Miles a Spider-Man event that was about Miles. That's why it was great. I didn't know it did that poorly, but
yeah, Squirrel Girl also, of course.
I mean, I agree that the Spider-Geddon was just to make the Spider-Verse movie and tie it in, as we discussed. But at the same time, they told a really good, solid story with it, in my opinion.
Right.
They could have very easily done a Civil War 2. They could have very easily done that.
Yeah, no, that's very true. I didn't even bother, but I will catch up. It's just like
it's not as bad as you think it is, and I think the problem is everyone assumed exactly what you assumed. Cash grab, I want nothing to do with it. When you actually,
I read the annual or something, like one of the side stories, one of the tie-ins with it was the Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man tie-in issue.
Yeah, and that was great. I actually liked that because
it's actually pretty fun.
Yeah, it was. And the actual main plot is about Superior Spider-Man and Miles and how they could stand out and do their own thing.
Yes.
So I actually liked it. I actually liked it a lot. I know a lot of people are like, "Ooh, a cash grab," but I'm like, nah. It turned out,
but it's sold pretty crappy.
Yeah, apparently. But yeah, no. So, but DC is also Batman and the Outsiders apparently has disappeared from solicits. So has the other history of DC, which I forget what that was.
That was wasn't that supposed to be in a Black Label book?
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Yep, there was a Black Label
Weird.
book. All the Black Label books have pretty much disappeared from solicits.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, the announcement that like DC is publishing half of their books is like, it sounds scary, but on the other hand, you could be doing what Marvel's doing, which is publishing double what everyone else is publishing and flooding the market with a bunch of books that no one's reading. I mean, like, I mean, when I say no one, I'm speaking figuratively, but people seem to think I'm talking about you specifically, which is why I have to like censor myself. But like, Nashy Matt.
In 2018, back in December, according to this Bleeding Cool article, DC dropped to 52 single issues a month, as opposed to Marvel's 90 at this point. I didn't even know Marvel was up to 90.
Oh yeah, no, it's unsustainable. You can't sell that many books to everybody.
Yeah. And Nashy Matt, thank you so much for that Twitch Prime sub. There's no. I would be surprised if there is a Marvel fan who buys 90 Marvel books a month and reads them. I know people that buy everything, but
I used to know those people. I don't see them as often, but like because they probably died from like starvation, from not being able to afford anything. But
I review weekly, and I still don't buy that many.
Yeah, no.
So I am buying more Marvel than DC now. I've dropped so many DC books.
Oh yeah, no, big time.
Well, and now beginning with the Wonder Comics line, DC may have helped those numbers as Bendis has created own books. But looking at the April solicits, there's still only 54 single issues listed. 3 of those are final issues.
I think that's fantastic.
But I
don't know about you.
But actually, I prefer that because then we get what you would assume are more solid storylines instead of a lot of junk storylines. But they do mention here that DC is still selling comics through Walmart and Target, and they're not even tracking these things because they only track comic book sales at stores. So,
which annoys me and always will.
Dude,
it's
I
crazy.
picked up that issue 7 with the death of Lois 1,000 times.
Yeah,
the story's really good. I disagree with it being a Walmart story.
Well, not only is it weird, but it's like you literally build this as an all ages book.
Yeah.
I mean, like, and if it was like implied death or if it was like off panel or something like that, but no, it's like it's as graphic as anything Tom King's capable of doing. Like, it's just I get it, but it's I'm glad. I hate censorship of every kind, and I don't like to see it like stifled. But at the same time, you sold it as this, then you're making it whatever, and then you're like, oh well, who cares? I mean, like, Tom King gets to do whatever he wants, so we'll just let him do that. Like, okay, but put a thing on it. Put a thing that says like it's pretty graphic or watch out.
Yeah,
or like,
there was no
know.
warning on it. I do find it funny because it's the same argument we've always had. And yes, DC was matching out with Marvel for a little while there, but like that same guy that loves to tweet out to us, whatever, he's like, oh, look, Marvel beat DC. And I'm like, and Marvel still ships double the books.
Yeah.
Like
I don't even see that
December
anymore.
2018. You muted him finally?
I must have. I don't know what you're talking about.
Marvel shipped
Likewise.
90 books with 38 magazines. DC shipped out, graphic novels. They said 38 graphic novels. DC shipped out 52, 37 graphic novels, 1 magazine for a total of 90. So, I don't know. It's interesting to see because this is a decline. When we hit 2017, and you know what I think part of this is, though? A lot of people are like, they're trying to give the reasoning behind it. They're trying to figure out why is this happening? What is going on?
Right.
Blah, 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 things like that.
Yeah.
In my response, like what I think is there's a lot more turmoil internally at DC, and I think that's affecting it. I don't think sales are like in a traditional sense down to the point where they're like, cancel all the books, we're going out of business.
No,
because
I think you're right.
Both DC and Marvel will sell books even at 3,000 sold. Like they don't care to a certain extent. So for DC to be down to 52, I think part of this is Doomsday Clock was delayed, and a lot of things were supposed to tie into that. New Age of Heroes did not sell like they thought it would, although in all honesty, I
don't know why they thought it would sell, but okay.
Exactly.
Bad idea from day one.
I don't know why they thought 12 new superhero books at the same time. It reminded me of that Double Take comic line where they're like, we're going to do 10 books you've never heard of in one week. Like, why are you doing this?
Yeah, nope. Unsustainable. Which, like, I don't know. You can see it. You can smell it off every copy you get from DC that something is going on back there, and like everything's on fire.
And
it's just
2
like,
seconds. Actually, the chat had a good suggestion. Joel, try going audio only.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah,
I was gonna say if I leave the call and come back, I have the app now. Should I do that?
All right, cool.
Try that. Try jumping in the app, and we'll see if that fixes it. And if it doesn't, we'll go audio only. Oh, hi, Sal.
All right. Hey, where'd I go?
Oh no! It went full screen. You.
Oh, okay, cool. I switched it, so now it's
there. Let's see if he's back.
He's back.
Okay. But yeah, I think there's a lot more going on because a lot of events and things that were supposed to relate to the books that are coming out are not happening. Rebirth, and this is what I wanted to primarily talk about. Rebirth came out with a bang, and we were all excited about it for the first 6 months, and then it quite obviously started having issues internally because books were learning up, things were starting to fall out of place again, things were going all over the place. And I feel like that is a huge contributing factor because not only is that going to make you be like, well, all of our plans are not working out, but it's also going to make readers go, well, I don't need that. I don't need this. I don't need that. I don't want this.
Oh, yeah. Well, here's the thing. A lot of comic book readers are also like meta readers. So they know like, or they're reading it to be like, they're reading it with another ear to the industry going like, oh, this is affecting this, or like, why do I invest in this because I know something else is happening behind the scenes or blah, blah, blah. Like there's a lot of factors in place for like why people drop books or why people expect certain things from a publisher. And like DC went all in on Rebirth for a little while. They made a big splash in New York Comic Con. They were very vocal about it. I mean, like they made a lot of like big strides with DC Rebirth #1 just by like setting up the status quo. They were like, yo, look at all this stuff we're working on. And like, I mean, like that big lithio that Jim Lee drew of like all the new redesigns and all the new costumes and the new directions. It was about like righting the ship, even though New 52 sold better than Rebirth. Like New 52 sold better than like anything because you said to like USA Today, The View, New York Times, like everything that DC was rebooting and that we're starting from scratch. So like, yeah, you're going to sell crazy numbers if you tell people you're going to reboot. You know, it's why like Marvel sales didn't sell as well after Secret Wars because there was no reboot. It was just, here's some more stuff. Here's some more stuff you want, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Like,
it was just more of the same, I guess. Haha. Or it's different. Who knows? Like, there was no direction. There's nothing you could, like, sexy or with a button on it that you could, like, point to and say, this is what it's doing. I'm of the opinion with Rebirth that, like, here's the deal. The same exact people who were like, we need to reboot with no plan, New 52, are running DC now. Like, there's no guard change here. So as a result, like, why would you expect it to be any different? Like, people are literally being like, this is like New 52, or like, this is like the thing that I read 10 years ago. And I'm like, yeah, the same people at the same levels. No one is changed. Why would you think it's going to be different? And it's like, yes, they can make Nightwing blue, and like they can give Superman a kid, but like if the same people who made the same errors you don't like are still making the same decisions or capable of making the same decisions, and they think that those decisions are like really good decisions, they're going to keep doing it. And they're going to keep doing it the same way you don't like. I mean, like, look at what happened. Like, John Kent, and I don't want to get in on Tear because I know Tevi is going to freak out, but like, John Kent is a character that was birthed from the New 52.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, from Rebirth. Rebirth made John, and he was a breakout character. He sold his own book out of the gate. When they announced Rebirth, they were like, this is going to be a book, and everyone's like, holy crap, I want it. Sold very nicely. Everyone really enjoyed it. And look what happened like only a couple of years, maybe less.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we got a stunt creator and we gave him like just total like a carte blanche with our entire line. And now it's something else. Now he's nothing. Now he's superfluous.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So real quick, just to kind of, I think you were wrong about Spider-Geddon. I don't think those numbers are finalized. If you look back in November, Spider-Geddon sold 60,000 copies on both 3 and 4.
Maybe it was a reprint.
Yeah, that must have been a reprint that sold 10,000 because the 3 and 4, 3 did 51,000, 4 did 49,000. So to go to 10,000 for the finale would make no sense.
Okay. No, because it said Spider-Geddon #1. So my guess is you're absolutely right. It was just a reprint.
Okay.
But like,
and as far as Superman, for everyone, and this is a problem I have with this. Everyone's like, I don't like Superman. I don't like Superman. Stop buying Superman. It's still the 20th highest. This 20th on the rank of 1 through 100. The 20th highest selling book at 54,000 copies sold in November. Like,
by the way,
Bendis is stuck. Bendis is there. If it stays at these numbers, he is not being kicked off. Like,
yeah,
Bendis
but that being
this
said,
thing was in the top 80. You need to not buy it.
Batman is a book that always sells over 100,000 units. If it drops below 100,000, DC goes, what's going on? What's wrong? If you don't like what's going on with Batman, make those numbers go down. It'll change.
Yeah.
Batman has to be the #1 book every time because they count on those numbers. Superman has always been in flux. Superman is not the top 3 ever. Unless like it's Action Comics 1000 or it's a big deal or he dies. But like Superman does not sell crazy amounts of comics. But 54,000, like those are if it sells consistently. If I can hang my hat on, okay, if Bendis is on Superman, we got the Bendis bump. You know what I mean? Like we jumped up to like, I don't know, 60, 80,000 probably. Like if we can stabilize Superman and consistently sell 60 to 50,000 units, we'll be fine. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
But if it dropped to 30,
oh yeah,
he'd be out.
Looking at these numbers, by the way, for anyone who may be curious, if you don't count events and new #1s, so Uncanny X-Men's #1, and it was the #1 issue. It had sold 176,000 copies. Green Lantern #1 sold 113,000 copies. I've officially decided I don't like that Green Lantern book. And then Web of Venom Carnage Born sold 104,000 copies. You put the name Carnage on something and put it as a #1, it's going to sell.
And it's also pretty good, too. Donny Cates is running a pretty solid run.
Although I think he's spinning his wheels now, but that's my own personal opinion of where it's at now. Like
but that being said,
he came with a gate with a dragon and a god, and now it's like, no, Eddie's gone home. Like,
and his cancer's bad. Yeah. He's got the cancer again.
After that, it goes Amazing Spider-Man, Batman, Amazing Spider-Man, Heroes in Crisis, Avengers, Venom, Justice League. So if you're ever wondering why some of these books that you disagree with continue on, they're the pretty much generalized top 10 that aren't, what the hell, Uncanny X-Men #1? You know, like...
Yeah, no, it all like if you ever want to go like, what's the top 3 books like on a regular basis? It always goes Batman, Spider-Man, event.
Yep.
And if it's a Batman event, it's Batman event, Batman, and then Batman event tie-in, and then Spider-Man.
Yeah. I'm actually surprised DC doesn't do like an every 6 months Batman event. I mean, I know we'd all get tired of it, but they could easily get away with it probably for 3 to 4 years before they would see any damage to the brand. Oh,
they would do it until they saw it dip to like number 10 in the slot.
Mhm.
If it drops below top 10, they'll do a stunt event where it's like the death of everything, all bat death. And it's like, oh crap, that'll sell for the whole year. And then they can be like, okay, now let's like bring it down to like 3 bat titles, and those will sell the top 3.
Yeah.
I mean, like Avengers is doing 50,000. Avengers should be in like the 60s, 70s, 80s, but it's not.
No, Avengers 10 did 77,000.
Well, Avengers 11 did 52.
Oh, wow. Did it?
Exactly. Like,
What a dip.
you know,
Wait, Avengers
I was
what
one
number?
of 11.
Are you? I don't think your numbers are fully accurate yet. Because
I'm looking right at it. It's December.
I can't find December's numbers. I can only find November's.
Well, I'll message them. Here you go.
Well, I can't check it here. I'm live.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
put it in the
I
chat.
clicked in 2019.
Oh, there's no numbers there.
Batman Who Laughs, 220,000, and it doubled Batman Damned, which and then it was Doomsday Clock, and then Batman for December.
Literally, the 50% of the top 10 is Batman.
And it's the top
I
5. It's
like
all
Batman,
Batman related
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Which, by the way,
Batman
it
Annual
warms
is
my-
also number 9.
Yeah.
He has 6 of the books in the top 10.
Yeah. Man, Shazam number 1 out of the gate 66.9. I bet that drops by 20,000 by
Which
issue
is
3.
a shame.
Oh yeah.
But that's just that we're just talking shop. The fact is, like, when it comes to Rebirth and whatever's happening at DC and the drop in books, like DC is losing good faith with their readers that they gained
Yeah.
with Rebirth.
They've been
Rebirth
spinning
was like,
their wheels
It's been
forever.
stupid decisions.
yeah.
Rebirth was
Well,
no,
because-
I disagree. I think Rebirth would have been a great thing if it had all panned out the way intended. Doomsday Clock ended in December. The effects of Doomsday Clock rippled throughout the DC universe. We entered
Yep.
into the next thing at DC, but I think that's part of our problem. We went New 52, which we could all agree, no matter how well New 52 did sell, that it went on way too long. Like,
Well, it just there was no plan, so it couldn't possibly keep doing something new. It had to go back because it's not like DC also replaced all their creators with new young talent who all wanted to tell original stories. It was all people who've been in the industry for at least 20 years.
Yeah.
So like Scott Snyder, when he's writing Batman, when he takes over New 52 Batman, do you think he was like, I've got a fresh new take on Batman? No, he was told, by the way, come up with a fresh new take on Batman because we are doing new Batman. Like, both Benny and I talked to Snyder on our channels, and I think both times he said, like, I was operating on the assumption that, like, year 1 was the baseline. And then DiDio came to me and he's like, yo, it's not. Literally throw away all of the stuff that you were using. We're doing something new. Make up something new.
Yeah.
And like, but not make up this, use this roadmap. Here's the plan. Nope. It was just do anything. I mean, look at Superman when New 52 debuted. George Perez is doing his thing. Grant Morrison's doing his thing. Nothing lined up. No one knew anything. And by the way, Grant Morrison, George Perez, 2 people working on a brand new Superman title who have been in the industry for like a collective 100 years. Like, are you kidding me? Like, not by the way, I love the idea of those creators working on these books. I'm just saying, like, you're not going to get like brand new shit.
what's it?
Sure. So anyway, the point that I was trying to make is just simply like DC Rebirth was not, I think it was doomed to failure.
No, I agree with you. But you got to think. So we went New 52, and New 52 arguably went on much longer than it should have, just in general.
Right.
Even if you wanted to keep the New 52 label, we should have been moving into different eras of like, this is the age of Final Crisis, this is the age of Infinite Crisis. Like we didn't move into like a new status quo. We just kept it going for 5 years, which made things the best we had was 4 years, and then we had DCU, which everyone loves to forget existed, including myself. DCU
With
didn't even make
Robot Batman.
Yeah, Robot Batman, Powerless Superman, which
God of War, Wonder Woman.
I
Well, like
liked God of War,
DC,
Wonder Woman.
DCU was emblematic of the problem that you're going to have over at DC from now until everyone who works there doesn't work there anymore. There was no plan.
Oh, yeah.
There was no agenda.
Well, DCU,
there was no
DCU, in my opinion, they went New 52 to DCU, and I feel like DCU was them owning up to it. Because they were like, the things that sold was things like Batgirl at Burnside, which didn't line up with anything, and it was just allowing you to do whatever you wanted. And I feel like that was them going, well, if these weird indie kind of off-the-wall ideas work, why don't we try it with the whole line? But it's the same. It's the exact same argument I made when Marvel finally got rid of its last classic hero. If you go to the same restaurant all the time and they at least give me one safety meal, I have my safety meal. But if I go to this restaurant and they've completely changed the menu, then it's not the restaurant that I love. I'm going to leave. And that's what happened with Marvel when we finally got rid of the last of the classic heroes. Tony Stark being gone, Captain America being swapped out, all these characters. You only were inviting newcomers. You didn't cater to the old people. And I feel like that was the problem with DCU on a different scale. I mean, it's not like Superman we didn't get the African American Superman. We got powerless. But it was the same concept. Yeah. You got rid of everything I liked about DC, and you're expecting me to just automatically like everything. That was the inherent problem, I think, with DCU. It was the exact same problem with Marvel, just on a different level,
Well, it was for me. It was just like, I don't think that DCU is a neat idea, right? They literally did it already. Like, if you want to talk about we'll take our main characters and we'll take them off the table or change them or alter the universe, so it's let's not rely on our tentpole franchise. Let's do something new and daring and bold. They've done it 3 times in my lifetime. They did it in the 90s. Let's kill Superman, break Batman, and drive Hal Jordan insane.
Yeah.
Literally, we replaced Batman, Superman, and Green Lantern in the same year. Then
also, Caleb, thank you for that sub.
Hey. Then 52. They were let's take Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and get them the hell out of here, and just make this year of DC about Booster Gold. And it's one of the most critically regarded DC stunts ever accomplished.
Yeah,
still celebrated.
Still great. Yeah.
So and by the way, the first one I mentioned, those sold crazy great too. So they have a history of
regardless of personal opinions of the death of Superman or the breaking of Batman's back, but for the most part, they're pretty well revered. These are great. These are amazing. And then you compare it to the same era of Clone Saga, and you're like, what was you doing, Marvel?
Well, that's what it was. No plan. Yeah. No idea. Now, that being said, Death of Superman, there was no plan either. But if you look at documentaries, you can see at least they plotted out to the point where they did. Spider-Man, they released an issue called 101 Ways to End the Clone Saga because they had no goddamn idea how to do it. Because they didn't plan. And it got away from them. DCU, same thing. No plan. Let's just do this. Let's try this. Maybe this will work. I don't know. It's DC is funny because they don't know that people are gonna buy Batman no matter what, and you can try new things, but you don't have to worry. The people look at it. Remember you saying how if you want to see something change, don't buy it anymore.
Yeah.
That doesn't work with comic book fans.
Because they'll buy it.
Comic book fans aren't gonna not buy it.
It's true. We're the exception.
And I'm listen, I've heard people say, I'm gonna drop this, I'm gonna drop that. I hate Dan Slott, he's ruining everything. They bought every issue.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them got really upset about them, or they tweeted at him, "Oh, this issue sucks. You did this." You rip it up, you put it in a sink, whatever. It's bought. The money's done. Yeah. It's in. Units are ordered. It's over. So comic book fans, for the by and large, are completists. They're I gotta get every issue. So it's those people, don't worry about pissing them off. Don't worry about the numbers for that percentage of the audience. Do new things, but have a plan. Plan it out.
Well, see, and that's the issue, because New 52 went to DCU. DCU went into Rebirth, and I think we were all excited because they did have a plan. Doomsday Clock.
They looked like they had a plan.
Well, I think they did. The problem with the plan was it fell through. It all seemed like it hindered on Doomsday Clock. I've been toting around my theory that Heroes in Crisis was a Like it was like a clutch
Like a
move.
convergence?
It was a clutch move to save something. Oh crap, we have nothing going on. Tom King, do you have a crazy idea? Yeah, Heroes in Crisis. Let's
Inspiration
do
plan.
it. You know, like
Every idea I've ever had.
you guys just had me write a book where I killed Lois, 12 times.
Yeah. How about this? I've got a pitch. It's about a guy who's really depressed and suffers from PTSD, and then like, well, I'll figure out the rest after that.
But Tom, that's all your books.
Yeah, don't. Did you know I work for the CIA?
But
You
no.
may have mentioned it once or twice.
But anyway, because you could tell June, July, when Heroes in Crisis kind of was announced, it was starting up and all the stories about a crisis were happening. That was also right around the time that we were like, oh, Doomsday Clock is not going to end in December.
Oh, yeah.
How is any of this going to line up? Because it's not.
the answer is it's not.
Yeah, exactly. And I
don't think it was.
I think we can go back to those podcasts and me being concerned. Doomsday Clock's been delayed, guys. What is DC going to do?
Right. Yeah. Well, like, what's funny is Heroes in Crisis. That doesn't fix anything. Like it's just
No.
it's just identity
Creates more
crisis. It makes everyone unhappy. That's all it does. Like it kills characters that no one's using, and it upsets status quos that no one's really going to believe is actually upset.
Yeah.
Like, do you really think the Batman's going to be in any way changed by what happens in Sanctuary? Like, no.
Do you really think we're going to arrest Harley Quinn or Booster Gold?
Not for any length of time.
No. And if either one of them did it, I guarantee it'll be, oh, well, it was the Psycho Pirate mask that made them do it. And that's the
Right.
story.
Or the AI in Sanctuary.
Yeah.
Or, like it was all a simulation. Or like, or you know what? We could kill Booster Gold because he's a time traveler. I'll have a younger, not PTSD suffering Booster Gold show up from the past, future, and he'll to occupy the space and we'll pretend like it never happened.
It's fine.
What's funny about the Booster Gold thing and the fact that he's even in Sanctuary is he's quite obviously just dealing with the ramifications of his 1 3-issue story in Batman that Tom King wrote.
That's unbelievably lazy and stupid.
Like they
by
gave
the
him
way.
this situation and we skipped the whole year where he got messed up. Like the whole year was just skipped.
That's so crappy.
Yeah.
Like Booster Gold is one thing. And then Tom King's like, but I want to use him and make him like one of my million other characters. And they're like, that's really not him. Well, what if I use him in a story he would never be in, and then have something happen to him that would never happen, and have him react in a way he would never would? But if I have him team up with Blue Beetle in one of the issues, people will forgive me.
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
I'm okay.
I'm watching people go like, "Oh my God, Booster Gold and Blue Beetle are back! It's all forgiven."
Yeah.
I'm like, if they put out a book,
they brought back the blue and the gold. I'm okay with whatever Tom King wants to do.
right? If they put out a book called Blue and Gold, half you wouldn't buy it, and it would get canceled after 6
I'd
issues.
buy it.
Yeah, you would buy it, and like 6 other people. Like, unfortunately, like sales wise, it's a stunt.
So okay,
Like, it's a
because we are already at 4:50, and I had 2 more topics I wanted to hit. So
fair enough.
this proves, without a shadow of a doubt, we don't need Rob to go on tangents about our topics.
No, that's true. I'm sorry.
No. So anyway, though, I think to wrap this up, I think the sales are down to the cancellation of books. I think a lot of this has less to do with the sales of the books. Bear in mind, this is entirely my speculation. Okay, just going off what we know and how long a lot of these books carry on for, I feel that New Age of Heroes is being canceled due to poor sales and not catching on, but everything else is being canceled for different reasons. I think Titan's probably being canceled to be lined up with the show. I feel like
Oh, goody.
well, I like the show, so screw you.
I know you do. You're the one person I know.
And I feel like a lot of it is being left hanging because of Doomsday Clock. The question is, are we going to go forward? Like, when Doomsday Clock wraps, is that they're all going to line up with it like intended, and it's going to move forward?
Right.
But speaking of the turmoil that appears to be happening at DC, Marvel is killing it, and they're bringing back the X-Men in a huge fashion with an event, Age of X-Man.
Yeah.
Okay, how do you feel about that, Sal? Because I feel like they finally convinced me. I read Extinction, I read Mr. and Mrs. X, and I read Uncanny, and I read X-Men Red. And I am on that X-Men bandwagon again, man. I have not.
I
been
read
since
those
the
first
2000s.
two I read Phoenix Rising or whatever the hell it was called. I read Extinction. I read I'm alongside Tiffany. I'm reading Mr. and Mrs. X. Like, great stuff.
Yeah.
I just read the most recent issue of Uncanny because everybody was like talking about how crazy it was, and I'm like, oh, they killed all the X-Men. There's no way that's not going to get undone in the next issue.
I know.
But
I know, especially
let's
if you
all
look at the
pretend like-
solicits. And if you look at the solicits, the covers, without even reading them, the covers are like Cyclops in the next one, and then Cyclops and Wolverine, and then all the X-Men again. And you're like,
Oh my god! At the end of the issue, it says like, "Oh my god, we just killed all the X-Men." But guess what? It's not going to be like that way for long.
Yeah, I
And
know.
I'm like, yeah, no shit. That being said, like, I mean, they used X-Man, they used Legion. Like, they are. I'm not enjoying Uncanny. I have not
Really?
really enjoyed it too much. I thought it was like, you know what it was? It's a little too. I don't know. It may be too much X-Men for me in terms of like I don't need that much X-Men. I just wanted X-Men to be like left alone and to keep doing X-Men stuff. But it's good. Like it's good. Like they're actually doing what people want.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
I don't think. I think it was like what, mid 2000s is when they stopped doing what people wanted, and they just started doing all kinds of weird stuff with the X-Men. Because that was the big period when I fell off, when they just started doing whatever the hell they wanted with the X-Men. It was like, I'm not reading this anymore.
Oh no! Well, like, and they weren't doing anything productive with the X-Men, and they were just kind of like they were practically DCUing the X-Men,
Yeah.
where they were like, like, yeah, I don't know. I'm optimistic about the X-Men, and I've enjoyed more X-Men books over the last year than I have in the past 5. So, like, that's a good sign.
The last
you know?
time that I was excited about the X-Men was shockingly Avengers versus X-Men. And when that closed,
I was not.
I liked Avengers and I liked the all new X-Men. That was the last time I was excited about X-Men related content. But then all new X-Men obviously went on much longer than it was intended. Because
Right.
and it was the laziest thing ever. It was like the all new X-Men are time traveling and we have to solve it eventually. And then we got to like issue 20 and it was almost someone like told Bendis, "Oh, you can't cancel this." And his response was, "We'll never solve it."
Yeah. Well, then okay then.
And I was like, "Oh, well, now it's dumb." You know, like
Yeah. No. Although I will say, Extinction, excellent way to fix it.
Oh, yeah,
Like, they
One of my
actually,
favorites.
it's incredible.
no, Extinction was amazing. I liked Extinction.
I think it's a great time to be an X-Men fan. I think it's positive. I think, you're going to see a lot of like housekeeping coming up.
Well, how do you
Like,
feel about, and this is for you too, Joel. I know you're kind of keeping mums because you're worried about the robot thing breaking up, and that's why you're having issues.
Yeah.
How do you feel about them going, "All right, we're bringing back X-Men in a big way"? Event. Like, it's like Marvel just can't just do a book. It has to be an event.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of how I feel. Like, I thought this was all I ever wanted, was the X-Men to occupy a place of prominence again, but now they're giving me so much so quickly.
Yes.
It's overwhelming to where I'm like, well, I was fine not reading it forever. Maybe I'll be fine just not reading it again.
Well, in case in point, they did the exact same thing with Venom. Venom's popular. Do tie-ins, do spin-offs, do other events, do things that don't make sense in timeline. And like, I'd almost burned me out on Venom until they finally cut it all back. And I'm like, okay, all right, I could do 2 a month. Give me 2 a month.
Venom, Venom is a different animal. Venom's like, for me, like I view Venom as like a solo character. Don't do like universe stuff. Don't do like a million Venoms. Don't do like 5 symbiotes. Like just make it Venom. Just do a book about
Venom versus Carnage. That's all I need.
Right. I mean, even then, like, just do Venom versus Carnage like one time, and then leave it alone for a few years, and then bring him back.
Like how they used to use the Joker.
Like how they used to use the Joker. But like, that being said, as opposed to like with X-Men and it being an event, as a like peripheral X-Men reader, when I was growing up, I was a solo hero reader. So like, I didn't like the Avengers. I didn't like I read some X-Men, but I was not like an avid X-Men fan. All I knew about the X-Men were events. Like, every time the X-Men did anything, it was like a 6-part series.
Yep.
It was Extinction Agenda. It was like Age of Apocalypse. It was a universe-changing thing that, by the way, didn't affect anything I was doing. Like, I'm reading Daredevil and Spider-Man, and like Age of Apocalypse, the whole universe is different. Everybody's dead and different, and Wolverine has one hand. And I'm like, well, that's obviously going to go back. It didn't change anything I'm doing over here. Like, nothing's different over here at all.
Yeah.
For me, all I know of X-Men basically is that they can't help but do events. Like they're all about like everything. When the X-Men do anything, they've ruined everything.
Yeah. Oh,
like,
yeah.
So they have to do an event. So for me, I'm like, yeah, no, like do a real X-Men event. Do like a proper, like it's in the future or it's ruined or it's all an alternate present. Everything's ruined. Like do an event that makes the X-Men on top and in front so that like everyone can see that the X-Men are back, even though they never really technically left, and like that they're relevant, and we're going to start doing more stories about like that.
Yeah.
And I think you will make X-Men fans happy. So like that works for me. It's just don't make that event tie into like 12 other events and give people X-Men burnout.
Yeah, oh, well, that's I'm gonna try skipping all the Age of X-Man books and just stay with Uncanny.
Totally.
And I'm hoping that I don't miss anything, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's my fear too, and I'm going to try and do much the same.
okay, so I wanted to talk more about Marvel than just that, because it's funny because DC is at a weird spinning their wheels kind of place, but Marvel seemingly is fixing a lot of complaints we've all had recently. Case in point, Iron Man is incredible right now. I am loving the idea of a Black Mirror-esque horror story version of Iron Man.
I missed that. I did not know that was how Iron Man was going. It's awesome.
Oh, slots taken at places.
Oh yeah, no. Do you like Black Mirror, the show?
Not really, but
Okay, so the concept of Black Mirror is horror stories based around technology.
Technology's bad.
Oh,
yeah, I've seen like 3 episodes. I get it.
Okay, and that's kind of what they're doing at Tony Stark and Iron Man right now, and I'm really, really digging it. Same thing with Immortal Hulk. Immortal Hulk is killing it. The green.
It's very, that's actually like a really good concept. Both like Iron Man and Hulk, where they're like, let's take these flagship characters and just do something that we've never seen before.
Yeah, exactly. And that is what I'm liking about it. I don't know what's going to happen with Hulk in hell, and I don't know what's going to happen with Tony Stark messing with technology and creating oh, is it an AI? Is it alive? How does it get handled? Like it's interesting. It really is.
Yeah,
very.
And what I also like, and contrary to all of that, Nick Spencer is bringing Spider-Man back to like where we want him. Just after everything that Dan Slott did to Spider-Man to change it up, Nick Spencer's just like, let's just do Mary Jane, Black Cat. Let's just go and
J. Jonah Jameson. Yeah. I loved that last arc to death. That might be my favorite Spider-Man arc I've read in a really long time. Which is funny because
I didn't like that one that much. I thought it was okay, but I felt it was filler to get the new readers caught up on J. Jonah Jameson.
Totally. That's exactly. Oh, they're doing housekeeping over there. Like at the end of that, like Jameson's going to be back at the Bugle before you know.
Oh yeah. Well, that's just it. And that's what I'm noticing. Like if you had asked me before Nick Spencer took over what I want him to do with Spider-Man, I would have been like something new, something exciting. But him returning him to the roots, but with the Nick Spencer flair, I am so on board with. This is amazing.
Yeah, I don't want new at this point. Yeah. I've had too much new.
Exactly.
Like it's, and like, that seems kind of pedantic, but like at the same time, like there's something to be said for people coming to comics to like, life sucks over there. I'd like to read something about characters who can accomplish
the impossible
goals and succeed. Can we do that? Like, you know what I mean? I just want to sit on my couch and like be comfortable. And if I want to be challenged, like I will seek that out. But like when I'm reading Spider-Man, I don't want to read someone else's book. Like I don't want to read a book about Iron Man, or I don't want to read a book about like 16 other Spider-Man. I want to read about Peter Parker and his ongoing adventures going in linear order from 1962. Like that's what I want to read about.
Yeah.
And like I get it. But I've reviewed Amazing Spider-Man since they started with Nick Spencer, and I will admit there's something funny about the book. It feels like there's something else going on, and I don't know what it is, but like
it's Ryan Ottley's art. I was thinking about this the other day. It's Ryan
Ottley's art is I don't want it.
It's amazing, but it's amazing for Invincible, and I cannot unsee Invincible.
Yep, there's something about it.
Yeah.
There's something about it.
I hate to say it, but I think Ryan Otley is typecast into Invincible. I can't unsee Invincible at this point. You did it for 150 issues, man. Like,
yeah, I will say, like there was that arc with the Thieves Guild and Black Cat, and that was Humberto Ramos, and I was like, this is Spider-Man. Yeah. So it could be just Otley's art.
And I love the heist. That one, yeah. But yeah, that's what I think it is. I think it's Ryan Otley's art. Because I was thinking about this the other day. Because I feel the same way. Like, as much as I'm loving Nick Spencer's writing, something about this book feels off to me. And it's that I can't unsee Invincible. That's my issue with it.
That's fair.
So,
but it's good.
I mean, that's just my opinion. It's not bad art. It's not clicking with me the way I wanted.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. Like, when the art is familiar, or when it's like done by a person comfortable drawing Spider-Man, it's on fire.
Yeah. And thank you for that Twitch Prime sub, Walking Bread. Joel, what are you digging about current Marvel right now?
Again, I'm digging a lot of stuff. Those books you mentioned, even like little side miniseries are killing it. Who's been reading?
The robot is back.
Higgins book.
Higgins what?
Which book?
Higgins what?
Higgins Winter Soldier. Who's been reading that?
No.
No, I want to, but I'm waiting for it to finish since it's only 4 issues.
It's a mini of Bucky something to do independent of Captain America that makes sense to him. He's trying to get people out of bad situations.
Am I the only one that heard his robot break up with him going, it's a fucky?
Yep, I heard that.
The way it
whatever.
broke back in, it sounded like you called it fucky.
Move on. You're the next thing.
But a Bucky book is a good idea. Like, I've never, like, Winter Soldier for me has never survived past the book Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
He was a fun, like, Captain America idea, but, like, and I was like, this is good. Just keep doing this. And they were like, it was like they clearly just, like, got afraid of having him be Cap too long. And then they were like, oh, let's undo that. And I was like, no, like, you have nothing left for him now.
Yeah, exactly. Sadly, as much as I love Winter Soldier and I love Red Hood. And everyone's like, why don't you like Winter Soldier as much as Red Hood? They're kind of the same character.
Right.
Marvel doesn't know what to do with Winter Soldier. Like,
no, they
beyond, he's the next sidekick. Red Hood has become his own character since the New 52. Before that, he was just like, that's the weird sidekick.
Yeah. Yeah, well, like, I mean, Bucky was always like a dicey...
Yeah.
It was a dicey character anyway. But, yeah, I agree with that.
So, all right, well, let's wrap up this podcast talking about the Far From Home trailer.
Okay.
What did you think?
It looks great. It looks great. I can't wait. Yay.
My only problem is it looks like they've kind of given everything away.
No, I think they actually learned their lesson. Look at Joel. Yeah, you look like a broken JPEG. I think they've actually learned their lesson. I think the amount of trailer we saw is like the first 20 minutes of the movie.
That would be amazing. And we don't see anything else beyond that?
Yeah. I think they learned their lesson. I think Marvel was like, don't do the Iron Man thing like you did the last time where you gave everything away. They're coming to see it. So we don't have to trick them.
Okay, so right now there's a lot of running theories I've seen based on that trailer. One, Mysterio, obviously we all assume he's going to become a bad guy.
Oh, yeah. His first appearance was him pretending to be a good guy.
Yeah, so they're just copying in that. It looks like Sandman. It looks like Hydra Man. Everyone's stating that we're going to have Molten Man because we're doing the elementals. What do you think?
Right. It's going to be either that they're all illusions or that, like, at least Hydra Man is real. And the reason why I think Hydra Man is real is because when they're on the gondola, it says ASM number whatever, but it's the first appearance of Hydra Man. So, like, they're like I said I got a lot of grief when I said, like, oh man, Hydra Man, Sandman, Molten Man. People were like, it's the elementals. Sal, you're so wrong. It's the elementals. And I'm like, oh, so you read that article too?
I know. That's exactly what I was thinking when it first aired. I'm like, yeah, that's Sandman and Hydra Man. Holy crap! And then
yeah.
like, it's the elementals. I'm like, okay, where are you getting your information? Well, that was
right
in an article. Yeah,
the same place you did. But
what
yeah,
I mean, I don't know. If it is the elementals or it is Hydra Man and Sandman and Molten Man, or that they're playing the roles of the elementals. My question is this too many villains?
Oh no, I mean, like, here's the thing. If it's the elementals, they're all fake. They're all illusions. And Mysterio's creating he's trumping himself up to be like a big super like Avengers type superhero, and you know, it'll be a smaller, intimate like fight between Jake Gyllenhaal and Spider-Man. Like, I think that is the case if we're gonna go with full elementals, because they want to like go, no, it's Doctor Strange, it's Thor, it's Asgardian, like it's these beasts that are creatures from the earth itself. Like, that's exactly what they're doing.
Okay.
but I think at the very least, one of them might be real. And since they did go out of their way to go like Hydra Man, if it's Hydra Man, you got 3 of the 6 members of a potential Sinister Six. Like,
I mean, that would make sense. Plus, if you have Hydra Man as the only real one, he could be the one that like reveals Mysterio because Mysterio can't beat him and he gets frustrated and
yeah, like they quibble over over the rate or like how much they're paying. Like my rates have tripled, and he's like, no, I'm not going to pay. He's like, I'm actually superpowered. Like, I'm literally water. You're a fishbowl man. Like, there's nothing you could do to stop me. I think that'd be kind of cool. And like Vulture, Hydra Man, Electro. I'm sorry, Mysterio,
and Scorpion.
And Scorpion. Well, and Scorpion's a one-off. Like, you could literally recast him and no one would notice. But like,
Scorpion
it could be
was in the other one?
Scorpion. He was like, he's one of Vulture's underlings or whatever.
No, he was the guy who was selling stuff to.
I thought that was Shocker.
Shocker worked for Vulture. Scorpion was the separate guy.
They were doing like the cartel Scorpion from the second Ultimate
where he doesn't
comics.
actually get the suit, but like
no.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought I don't remember there being a giant scorpion suit doing nothing. Like
I don't want Scorpion, but like I'll take it because I know Marvel knows what to do with him. But I think that the only thing you could do, because of the response that Sony got from when they were like, oh man, we're making a Sinister Six movie, people were like, and more people than me were like, yay, because I was like, what? Then everybody else is excited about it, so they're like, oh no, that's the build. Like, that's what you do. You do Sinister Six, and I think that's genius.
It'd be kind of hilarious if Marvel's plan was to do 3 Spider-Man movies, then a Sinister Six movie. Just take the Sony thing, but build it properly.
I think that's a terrible idea. I don't want a movie about villains. I don't want to watch a movie about just the Sinister Six. I want to do the third Spider-Man movie.
That, but Venom sold amazing.
Yeah, and I don't like that movie.
Yeah.
Why do we disagree on so much?
I don't know.
How are we
But
friends?
I will say, like,
friends are supposed to, no matter what, agree with me.
Yeah, that's how it works.
It's in a book somewhere.
But I will say, like, third Spider-Man movie, the Sinister Six, why not? Or how about this? Avengers 5 is the Sinister Six. And you do that Ultimate Spider-Man story where it's like the Ultimates and Spider-Man versus like Spider-Man's the sixth member. Kind of dope.
That'd be cool. But okay, what
cool.
did you like it, Joel? Did you not like the Spider-Man trailer? You didn't say anything. I know it's kind of hard for you to talk right now.
The trailer was good. I liked it.
I'm not trying to like taunt you into talking a bunch. I'm trying to engage you. I'm not trying to make it break up. That's my fault. It goes robot.
And I'm afraid of ruining the show, so Joel's just going to admit defeat on this one.
All right, what did you guys think about the current theory that there is that they're in the store, they're promoting issue 114, which is the Clone Saga beginning, and everyone's like, that's Spider-Man 3 Clone Saga.
No.
God help us all.
Could you imagine that?
I don't want to. Like, the last thing we need is a Clone Saga.
Dude.
I don't understand why everybody thinks that, like, we're riding high, I can do it right. Like, no, you can't. No one wants that.
Haven't they
and
tried
anyone who
to
says
do
they
the
want
Clone
that,
Saga right like 2 other times already? Or 3?
No.
Because the
they haven't.
cartoon did it.
Yep.
Ultimate Comics did it.
Yep.
There was another one, wasn't there?
There was the Clone Saga from the 70s, the horrible one from the 90s, the terrible one from Dan Slott. Like, there have been 3 comic book Clone Sagas, not including the Ultimate Clone Saga. There's too many Clone Sagas. No clones.
Clone
Don't do it.
Conspiracy is not a saga. It's a travesty.
It's literally, it is a travesty, but it's literally just like, here's Saga again, but with Dan Slott doing it.
I guess.
No.
But it was shorter. That makes it okay.
Yeah.
Forgivable. Yeah, it'd have to be. But no clones.
So, all right. Well, I think that should bring us to the end of the show since Joel can't say more than half a sentence at the moment. Joel, did you like being here today?
Yeah, it was all right.
Yay.
All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. This is the weekly poll. Every other week we come live here to talk about whatever's going on in pop culture related to comic books, typically. Sometimes we break out of it, but it's mostly about comic books. We won't be here next week. We'll be here the week afterwards. I hope you guys enjoyed, and you can always find it on the Weekly Poll YouTube channel if you did miss it. You can always find Sal over at Comic Pop. You can find me over at Comic Storian, and you can find Joel over at Caped Joel. So whatever works best for you, go ahead and hit it. Once again, thank you guys for joining us today. We will see you in 2 weeks. You guys want to say goodbyes?
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.